Ancient legends, mystic charms, and superstitions of Ireland. The fairy race. The Sidhe, or spirit race, called also the Fairies, or fairies, are supposed to have been once angels in heaven who were cast out by divine command as a punishment for their inordinate pride. Some fell to earth and dwelt there long before man was created. As the first gods of the earth, others fell into the sea, and they built themselves beautiful fairy palaces of crystal and pearl underneath the waves. But on moonlight nights, they often come up on the land, riding their white horses, and they hold revels with their fairy kindred of the earth, who live in the clefts of the hills. And they dance together on the greensward under the ancient trees, and drink nectar from the cups of the flowers, which is the fairy wine. Other fairies, however, are demoniacal and given to evil and malicious deeds. For when cast out of heaven they fell into hell, and there the devil holds them under his rule, and sends them forth as he wills upon missions of evil to tempt the souls of men downward by the false glitter of sin and pleasure. These spirits dwell under the earth and impart their knowledge only to certain evil persons chosen of the devil, who gives them power to make incantations and brew love potions, and to work wicked spells, and they can assume different forms by their knowledge and use of certain magical herbs. The witch women who have been taught by them have thus become tools of the evil one, are the terror of the neighborhood, for they have all the power of the fairies and all the malice of the devil, who reveals to them secrets of times and days, and secrets of herbs, and secrets of evil spells. And by the power of magic they can effect all their purposes, whether for good or ill. The fairies of the earth are small and beautiful. They passionately love music and dancing, and live luxuriously in their palaces under the hills and in the deep mountain caves. And they can obtain all things lovely for their fairy homes, merely by the strength of their magic power. They can also assume all forms and will never know death, until the last day comes, when their doom is to vanish away, to be annihilated forever. But they are very jealous of the human race, who are so tall and strong, and to whom has been promised immortality, and they are often tempted by the beauty of a mortal woman, and greatly desire to have her as a wife. The children of such marriages have a strange mystic nature, and generally become famous in music and song, but they are passionate, revengeful, and not easy to live with. Everyone knows them to be of the Sidhe, or spirit race, by their beautiful eyes and their bold, reckless temperament. The fairy king and princes dress in green, with red caps bound on their head with a golden fillet. The fairy queen and the great court ladies are robed in glittering silver gauze, spangled with diamonds, and their long golden hair sweeps the ground as they dance on the greensward. Their favorite camp and resting place is under a hawthorn tree, and a peasant would die sooner than cut down one of the ancient hawthorns sacred to the fairies, and which generally stands in the center of a fairy ring. But the people never offer worship to these fairy beings, for they look on the Sidhe as a race quite inferior to man. At the same time, they have an immense dread and fear of the mystic fairy power, and never interfere with them nor offend them knowingly. The Sidhe often strive to carry off the handsome children, who are been reared in the beautiful fairy places under the earth, and wedded to fairy mates when they grow up. The people dread the idea of a fairy changeling being left in the cradle in place of their own lovely child. And if a wizened little thing is found there, it is sometimes taken out at night and laid in an open grave till morning, when they hope to find their own child restored, although more often nothing is found, save the cold corpse of the poor outcast. Sometimes it is said the fairies carry off the mortal child for a sacrifice, as they offer one every 7 years to the devil in return for the power he gives them. And beautiful young girls are carried off also, either for sacrifice or to be wedded to the fairy king. The fairies are pure and cleanly in their habits, and they ought like above all things a pail of water to be set for them at night in case they may wish to bathe. They also delight in good wines and are careful to repay the donor in blessings, for they are truly upright and honest. The great lords of Ireland in ancient times used to leave a keg of the finest Spanish wine frequently at night out on the windowsill for the fairies, and in the morning it was all gone. Fire is a great preventative against fairy magic, for fire is the most sacred of all created things, and man alone has power over it. No animal has ever yet attained the knowledge of how to draw out the spirit of fire from the stone or the wood, where it has found a dwelling place. If a ring of fire is made around cattle for a child's cradle, or if fire is placed under the churn, the fairies have no power to harm, and the spirit of the fire is certain to destroy all fairy magic, if it exists.